Hello, this is Simon. Welcome to my channel. So I mentioned in my previous video, the update video, that I was going to respond to the whole OGL thing until something official was released, and now it has. And it's kind of crap. So the update about the OGL thing is, if anyone doesn't know, is that Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro, the people who are behind D&D Beyond and D&D in general, issued the Open Game License, or OGL, version 1.1, which is supposed to be. It needed an update, but what they came out with was absolute crap. It was basically, you'll use everything you can use for your own purposes and not have to give you money for it. Anyone who makes money off of D&D stuff, like on DM's Guild or whatever, or who makes shows like Critical Role, if you earn over a certain amount within a year, you have to pay royalties, and it's like at least a quarter, between a quarter to a half, of your profits before taxes, or you've applied, um, which is a huge amount to take in royalties. It's absolutely massive for something like this, considering that Wizards of the Coast is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's hundreds of millions at least, easily over a billion a year in profit. So they don't need to do any of this. But it wasn't just that, because I can get behind the idea of getting royalties from people making money off their own products and stuff. I can understand that to a degree, but 25% was a lot. And also, the rest of the clause is basically, if you make anything with D&D stuff, we now own it, and we'll use it as much as we want, and we don't have to pay you for it, ever. Basically, it was basically a way for them to steal other people's work and get the credit. So there's a massive backlog from fans cancelling D&D Beyond subscriptions and all the rest of it. And then they came out with D&D Beyond came out with this statement, and they are speaking on behalf of Wizards of the Coast because they're owned by the same company now. So I'm not going to really read it through, so I'm just going to scroll through, and if you want to read it, I will put a link in the description, or you can just pause the video here. It's wordy. There's a few things in here that are just atrocious, because you think that the backlash would make them realize, don't piss off your customers, so okay. They don't need to change the OGL, not really. So, given all the hatred of any changes to it, let's just go back to being an OGL 1 and just leave it at that. No, they decided to dig their own grave even further. So, the initiative of the OGL, those three goals in mind. So, first was the ability to prevent the use of D&D from being included in hateful and discriminatory products. They already had that right in the first OGL, so that's a bullshit lie. Second, we wanted to address those attempting to do D&D in Web3 blockchain games and NFTs. You are already unable to use D&D stuff in NFTs. There's no need for a change. So that's a lie. And third, we want to ensure that the OGLs for the content creator, the homebrewer, not major corporations, for the recreational promotional purposes. That's also a lie, because the original OGL already covers all that. It already protects the homebrewer. It already protects the homebrew designer. It already allowed small-time creators to create stuff and make profit and share in the development of the game. In fact, that's how we ended up with Eberron, because it originally started as a third-party content, which Wizards of the Coast liked enough to make official. There's the same thing with the Critical Role books, Wildebound. It's how they started. That was all done through the original OGL. So clearly, that's a bullshit. So yeah. Driving principle to be good stewards of the game, and OGL was just for the benefit of the fans. I was wavered for a second. Nothing about the principle, but that was not true though, because the second OGL that you were trying to put out, by the fact that they're saying all this means that the leaked OGL 1.1 was correct. It was true. It was the right thing that they were doing. So they confirmed it all, which they could have avoided, but oh well. The second OGL was not being a good student of the game at all because it was basically just trashing everything about it that made it what it was for people who are making their own stuff from it. The fact that it benefited for the fans, no. The second OGL was to screw over people entirely. They would basically be able to create stuff and have it stolen from them and have nothing to say for it. Then they go on to say that this is why our early drafts of the OGL include versions that they did. It wasn't early drafts, it was a completed version, it just got leaked before they could release it. So the language was to protect, was provided to content creators and publishers so their feedback could be considered before anything else was finalized. That is a lie because this was leaked by an employee anonymously. That is not how you do get feedbacks. You would just give it to them. You wouldn't leak it. In addition to language reform is to address discriminatory and hateful conduct and clarifying what types of OGL covers. It doesn't mention any of that at all, so that's a lie. Our drafts included royalty language designed to apply to large corporations and use OGL content. Sure it did. But too harshly. It was never our intent to impact the vast majority of the community. Regardless, the OGL did though, so whether it's your intent or not is irrelevant. The fact that it did is something you should have looked at in the first place. You've been doing this for decades, you should know better. However, it's clear from the action that we ought to run. It's become clear that it's no longer possible to fully achieve all three goals while still staying true to our principles. Here's what we're doing. You actually can stay true to all your principles, because they're already covered by the first OGL in the first place, so that's again a lie. So the next OGL, which means that they still haven't learned the fucking lesson and they're going to be making a new one, will contain the provisions that allow us to protect the cultivate the inclusive environment that we're trying to build. I don't understand that because the original one already does that. And specify that it covers only content for TTRPGs. Yeah, the OGL only covers this. It's still no change. That means that other expressions as educational and charitable campaigns, live streams, cosplays, BTC uses will remain unaffected by the OGL update. Okay, that's something. That basically means that there'll no longer be, as it says here, as you can see, it'll no longer contain any royalty structure. So basically, when making content, you don't have to now pay Wizards of the Coast even more for it. And content already released under the first version of the OGL will remain unaffected. Okay. I mean, technically speaking, you aren't legally allowed to retrospect your OGL anyway, so that's a pointless line. It's illegal. Anything that's already been released under the first one can no longer be re-released under a new one just because Wizards go say so. That's not how it works. What's been released under the first 1.0 version can't be then made to be under the second version. It doesn't work that way. You can't unpublish and republish under different terms. It's not how it works. But they're going to take away the royalty structure. It looks like they're not going to affect pre-existing things. It will also not include the license back provision that some people were afraid was a means for us to steal work. And basically, they're not going to include the line, we have the right to use your work however we want. Which is good. That shouldn't have done. They say it never crossed their minds, but hey, and we don't know that. And under any new you'll own the content you create. You won't. Good. That's how it should be. Okay. So this is going to go basing into the whole thing that you'd expect. All the usual yada yada. It's pretty good. It's pretty much backpedaling. As they revise, so we'll see what the new version is going to be. and go from there. But if what they say here, it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, here we go. This is where it gets from game backpedaling to, oh my god, you are toxic as fuck. Second, you're going to hear people say that they won or we lost, making your voices heard. Those people won't be half right. They won, and so did we. This is it's one of the weird things to say. It's like, you lost your argument, you lost your thing. We're going to say that you just won just because you declare it. It wasn't about it isn't an us versus them thing. You did something bad, just apologize. Don't say, oh well, your reaction makes us a winners. That's stupid as fuck. Our plan was always to solicit the community before any update to the OGL. The rest of you don't have to do this. No, they weren't. They were leaks. If you want to get feedback from the fans, you do what you've been doing with Unearth the Canna and on D&D. You release surveys. You say, this is what we're intending. It's not in effect yet, but this is what we're going with. What do you think? What's your feedback? We have forums. You now own D&D Beyond forums. You can put it there. There's social media where you can make this statement saying, this is what we're planning. What do you think? You didn't do any of that. There was an employee who remained anonymous who leaked the drafts to content creators like D&D Shorts and the others, because they didn't agree with what you were doing and wanted to protect the community, which they did. This is not. This is them trying to claim ownership of the leak, which is just utter indiscriminate bullshit. You want to create it like fire, experiences, just time, blah blah. Our goals again. It obviously wasn't your freaking goal. It got leaked. It wasn't something you released. It was leaked against your will. Otherwise, you would have just said from the beginning, "Hey, this is what we're doing. What do you think?" You didn't. Uh, so it doesn't really feel like a freaking sorry. They're saying that we are sorry for that, but it doesn't come across as an apology. It's like when like an abusive partner has punched you. You got a police involved, and they're going, "Okay, well, I'm sorry, but you made me do it." That's kind of what it's like. It's This is tragedy because this statement right here has just proven that they don't give a fuck, and that pretty much means that no matter what they come up with, it does not matter what they come up with. D&D is pretty much on its way out. There is no going back from this. Um, Nothing they put out now is going to get enough traction to keep them running. Um, this is a shambles. So yeah, as far as my channel goes, I'm still going to try and see how it goes. I'm going to um, wait to what the second OGL, the new OGL is going to be, and see. But because of this statement, they're going to lose so much of the community. It's just gone. Because this is that's the fact holds. Well, we want to and trying to claim the ownership of the league and stuff. It's blatant lies. There's no point in lying to the community about it. Because they just come saying, "Oh well, my bad. We didn't do it right. We'll go back to the original. Sorry." That would be absolutely fine. But no, this this is a travesty. This is the death of D&D. You're witnessing the body just fall onto the floor, twitching as it's bleeding out. That's what this has now become. because of this. Oh, wow, okay. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Bye, D&D.